are 2 minutes early. And I have Branden Joynt from Trinity Renewal Services join us. Oh boy, Sharks already down 2-0. It's over, Johnny. It's over. Wow. Joe Dobbins, Brett McDaniel. There, that's all you're getting out of me as far as recognition. So, we gotta find Mr. Branden. There's Branden. Oh, jeez. I'm looking at all these little, is that you? Bring Branden Joynt on camera. There we go. Hey, Heather.
Hey, how's it going?
It was so easy.
How are you doing today? Good, good.
It's snowing up on the mountain, so I had to reschedule my all-day job. I already took my snow tires off. You know what snow tires are?
Well, we don't get to use them very much down here in Tennessee,
well,
so
we gotta leave them on 5 months out of the year here, and you don't dare go out without them. But if you got a single rear-wheel drive vehicle,
I think today was I think it was 80-something degrees here today, so
yeah, I was talking to a guy in Atlanta.
It was rightly warm.
Talking to my buddy in Atlanta, he was up to 94. And
oh gosh, it was definitely hot here today.
60 here.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. Now, actually, sometimes we'll have, I mean, not this time of year, but it's not uncommon for us to have snow in the mountains here, and it be much warmer in town. So, we have some decent elevation
What's your
changes.
mountain range called there?
We're in the Smoky Mountains.
Well,
yeah.
I'll make sure I don't hit that button so this turns into a coloring book again. Funny last night.
That was pretty funny yesterday.
Yeah, that was good.
That was.
Looking a little crooked. Let's give it another minute or two. Hey,
all right.
So what we're going to talk about are your line of OP machines, Trinity Renewal System.
Absolutely.
And how they compare to one another as well as the competition. And I kind of want to geek out on that whole travel thing because I didn't realize it made such a difference until I started messing with mine.
It does. It makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
And I guess when I first became aware of it was at the South Carolina or Greenville Ron McDonald house where you brought your personal machine. And I had
yes.
recently been using the Spider. And when I grabbed yours, it was like a whole different machine, yet they looked very much the same. But it was pretty much all because of the travel, right? Other than, well, actually, that's not true. What is it? What's the weight?
No, both machines. There's oh gosh, my machine's a little custom. There's probably about a 15-pound difference between our machines, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it really
especially
is.
If it's in the head weight.
So. Yes, yeah. My machine's gonna have a little bit more head weight, but that's one of the differences between the Spider and the Phoenix. A lot of guys are wanting a lighter machine, and we were able to produce the Spider, which weighs about 10 pounds less than the Phoenix, 10, 15, somewhere in through there. 17 pounds. Victoria says it's 17 pounds. So, yeah, if I say something wrong, she will absolutely correct me, which is great. So the Spider's gonna be a little easier. If you're hauling it up and down steps,
it's
something
funny
like that.
What Victoria knows and what she doesn't know. I'm not sure where it splits. But yeah, I was surprised that I have an easier time throwing the Spider in the back of my Ford Transit than I do my my Advance 175. I think because the weight's further down low.
Okay.
It has that folding handle. But it's certainly Cymex, which I wouldn't even attempt to throw in. And I got a lot of experience with the Cymex, been using them since, I don't know, probably 2002 or 3. And got a lot of miles on them. super familiar with all the tricks how to make it work and its idiosyncrasies and everything. But I don't know, it goes through a lot of juice. And once you're in, you're kind of committed because it makes the carpet look so damn good. You really got to stick to that certain path and speed you're using it. And a lot of times it's overkill, right? Second story work.
Well,
you're putting down a hell of a lot of juice, spend a lot of time on a carpet that could be OP'd or maybe even used with a 175. So it's a bit on the slow side.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sitting outside and I just got attacked by a bug.
You
so
got big bugs out there. So you're kind of relatively new in the cleaning industry. What other gadgets have you used?
Oh gosh, I've watched a ton of videos. So I don't have hands-on experience with every tool there is out there, but of course I've used the full line of Trinity stuff. I have a CRB that I keep on my truck. Got some compound the other day. We were messing around with it. It was a lot of fun to try out. I've got a couple portable extractors. I have two 1200 psi extractors. I have a 500 psi extractor. Use the 1200s for tile and grout. With the spinner head. Beyond that, I've been looking at different wands and stuff that I can hook up to my extractor. I haven't really made a choice, except I know I don't like the one that I've got.
Come with little cheapy 2 jets that don't do much of nothing, but take some of that Avengers movie revenue and get yourself a 12-inch Devastator.
There you go. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to do.
Feel like a vortex.
Yeah. Good luck with that, right? I don't think my portable's ever going to feel like a vortex. So. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, there's different tools for different jobs, and I definitely, try to keep a little bit of everything so that when I run across something, I'm ready.
The Phoenix MX has 3 speed choices, right? The Spider has 3 speed choices.
Yes.
What's the other one that you got without a tank? The Champ.
Oh, the Champ.
I assume they all have 3 speed choices, right?
Yes, that is correct. The center plug on each of them is adjustable, and we have 2 different transmissions that you can run. You can run a transmissions that have a speed 1, speed 2, speed 3, which is what's going to come standard on like the Phoenix MX. The Spider and the Champ. Victoria says the Champ.
Or 1, 2, and 5.
Yes. Well, and it's 1, 2, 3 on the MX. Then we have another transmission that's speed 1, 3, 5.
That's what comes.
So, and when I say speeds, what it's really adjusting is the orbit, the offset. So your speed. I don't know what the travel is on a speed 2, but on speed 1 you have a 3/8 inch offset. On a speed 3 you have a 9/16 offset. The speed 5 is going to be about 3/4 of an inch.
So
offset.
You and Charles stick to speed 3, right? What would you say the bulk?
I run.
I have the numbers right here, actually.
I always run speed 5 on my machines because like the Phoenix is upgradable to a speed 5. So the machine that we're actually going to be auctioning off on your site is actually going to be set to speed 5. So it's going to have the upgraded transmission in it.
But they can run 3 on it if they want?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Because I guess that's where I was confused, because that decal that's under my Spider says 1, 3, and 5. But
yes.
You guys sent me the
and so those are the
to convert it to that, but it already said that under there. So what did that plug actually do?
No, your plug on your. Did Victoria end up sending you another plug?
Yeah.
Because your machine, okay, I wasn't aware of that. So when you turn the center plug, and put the bolts back into the machine, that's when you're adjusting the offset. So, and that's how much travel the head has. So, speed 5 would have the most travel, so it'd be the fastest. It'd have the most agitation.
Okay, so when I converted it, I did it on the job the other day. According to the graph, I changed it to speed 3. Victoria said I was actually making it a speed 2, and that's why she sent me that plug. So something got messed up in translation that I'm not fully understanding.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's two different plugs. Okay. He said, Victoria says that your spider came with a 125, and that it should have been a 135. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that was an option. So I learned something new today. Spiders, he says, is 125.
So if you took the same machine, either one, Spider or Phoenix, and you had 3 of them. You set them all, this would be kind of fun to do in Phoenix, Scottsdale, to have all 3 set up, and we could clean. Let guys try the differences, and let's have a little race. But from what I was told, my understanding of all, speed 5 under that Spider is the best way to kind of haul ass, but it's definitely going to give you the most vibration.
Well, the vibration, adjusting the speed, I mean, it's definitely going to change the way the machine feels. So when you put it on the larger orbit, when you adjust the speed, what you're doing is, the machine's providing more agitation to the carpet. So I mean, yeah, you're going to feel a difference. But it should still be a pretty smooth ride.
You said on your machine, the one you had in Phoenix, Greenville, that you had that at level 5.
I do.
That was noticed. So that was the weight and any other custom magic you did to it. Maybe 10 loads of paint on it or something. But that was noticeably.
It could have. I think it's the polished sides. Yeah, I got the mirrored sides on mine, so that's probably what it is. Yeah. So basically, what I did is, the Spider is our top of the line machine. Okay, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's the full stainless steel. And I'm not trying to complicate things, but the Phoenix is more of an entry level machine, so it's going to come standard with your Speed 3 transmission, whereas your Spider is going to come standard with the Speed 5 transmission. So what I did is I took a Phoenix MX, and gave it every upgrade that we could give it, and that's kind of what you were feeling there. So,
and a lot of that vibration has to do with what you're cleaning and what you're cleaning it with pad-wise. As I mentioned in that video I did the other day,
oh, absolutely.
I was using an old school blue microfiber that just had, one of the bullseye pads that has 2 rings sewn in it. And after a couple of minutes of use, and this was on a typical carpet tile job, it was pushing the foam over to one edge where it almost felt like an old wheels up machine. Really hard to use.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to get through this job doing that, and it's all I had. I only brought those, but I did have I had some of your cotton blend pads, what I call the terry cloth rope pads, and they were smooth. But
okay, the glad pads.
As anybody who's ever ran those things on commercial knows, in like 3 feet, they turn into Michelin tires, and you're just smearing dirt around that point. So
yeah,
I can't do that.
Yeah, so. And depending on what type of carpet you're on, it's also going to change the way it feels dramatically. So, if you're cleaning commercial glue down, a microfiber is typically a better choice because there's some padding in there, and it gives you a little more buffer between.
With all those little segmented. I tried I had a red pad, a 3M fiber, whatever you want to call it, fiber pad. And that was nice and smooth and doing the job, but I was leaving those little red dingleberries all over the place. And I'm like, man, there's no way I can afford to go vacuum all this, let alone vacuum damp carpet. And I was talking to Encap store Damon. He says he has a fiber pad, and you guys probably have it too, that doesn't leave the little dingleberries all over, right? But you're not really absorbing anything at all. So
No. You're when you're using a fiber pad, That's the difference between end capping and pad capping. When you're end capping, you're really relying on the agitation and the chemical to do its job. When you're pad capping, you are absorbing a portion of the soils that are in the
carpets.
carpets.
What I like about the blue microfibers is that the bulk of that soil goes inside the pad versus sitting on the surface like the terry cloth pads, and now you're just smooching crap all over. I mean, way back in the early 2000s, that was like the Medal of Honor on end capping with or pad capping, whatever you want to call it. They just called it OP back then. But it was how big of a stack of cotton pads you could accumulate on the patio door as you were cleaning, because that was the only option. This was before microfiber and anybody thought about using 3M pads on there. But it was pure cotton pads. You'd use both sides, and that was the equivalent. The truck mount guy saying, "Yeah, look at this, 200 gallons of black water I got out." The pad guys say, "Look, here's my 200 dual-sided filthy pads." But those were also wheels up machines, which was just a nightmare.
Well, I will say we probably start each day. I run typically 2 trucks, and not always, but most days we run 2 trucks, and I probably start off with about 100 pads a day.
100?
Just
microfibers?
We're cleaning. No, the terry cloth ones. We're actually the Glad pads. I don't always go through all of them, but I like to be over prepared. So I'll have my truck like stocked to the gills, so that if we get into something crazy, I'm ready. No, we don't go through that many every day, but it's not uncommon for, but I'm running, sometimes 4 machines, so you can really go through a lot of pads.
When do you use those Glad pads? I thought you were mostly commercial.
The Glad pads will work on some commercial. So, for example, we clean a lot of hotels, so they do a fantastic job in that.
That's usually if I'm cleaning carpet in a hotel, right?
Yes, it is. So, and depending on soil level, depends on how much life you get out of the pad. So, one thing is you don't want to overuse the pads, because at some point they are losing effectiveness and they're not going to continue to absorb. They'll only absorb to a certain point. And at that point, if the question is where does the dirt go, well, at that point you're leaving it there. And of course, we don't want to do that. So, so what we do is, we definitely keep an abundance of pads, but also I keep a bunch of microfibers on the truck. I keep the tan pads, which are just a fiber pad. So we have, a lot of different pads on the truck.
So Branden, do you do any stone work, or does Charles or any of your crew?
We do have guys that do a lot of stone work. I am not one of them, so I'm definitely not the guy to be giving advice on stone.
In general, and I've used an OP on stone only at classes, but everything happens way quicker, right? It's just that much more aggressive. There's no risk to doing it. The machine weighs more than most 175s. I assume you have a stone specific kit where you can add some weight, right?
Yes. So, like for example, on the spider will hold a weight bracket, and you can actually add weights to that. You can also use the Padman, which I don't think you've actually seen that machine, but that one has a variable speed control, and it's a much heavier machine. So that's one that a lot of guys will choose if they're doing stone work. Victoria says Ted Barecki does. So, and again, I don't want to be like, hey, let's listen to Branden Joynt for advice on stone, because there's a lot of guys out there way more knowledgeable on stone than I am.
Are you aware of any drawback, anything negative about using an OP on stone? I've never heard of anything other than added cost.
I've never heard of anything. From what I understand, it's quicker, but stonework is still very slow.
Yeah, it's slow in general. So if you got to go through, 4, 5, 6
Yes.
grits, no matter what. But from what I could see, it
I
seemed
had
to be.
somebody on here asked what we had a question from Brian Thompson. He says, "What encapsulation do you use?" Personally, I typically use PadCap Pro, and I use the double strength version because it dilutes. You have to keep less on your truck. So
Brian's a big stone guy, so I'd be surprised if Brian doesn't have an OP machine, just considering how much smoother they are. And an OP machine, if you're working with stone, you may not be aware of this, but you create what's called marble milk. As you take this, a calcium-based stone down, the magic moment is when you start seeing that white milk. Then you've actually cut through and you're
yes,
creating that. But does an OP sling more, equal, or less than a 175? Because that's a big deal when you're polishing stone in the home. You spend more time masking off baseboards and walls that control that sling than anything else.
Again, that's not something that I don't really do stonework. So
comment on that'd be great.
Okay, yeah. Again, probably not the right question for me. I do use my OP for pre-scrubbing tile and grout. And when I'm doing that, some guys will actually put a guard around the machine to catch overspray and stuff from the machine. What I do, that's a perfect time to use speed 1 because you're going to decrease the orbit. And if you're using your OP machine to pre-scrub tile and grout with like a tile and grout brush, then the speed 1 is going to not make as big of a mess as less fling than if you're running speed 5.
I've noticed on some OP machines, if you put if you got the mini pearl tag hanging off a pad, right, the little white tag.
Yes.
Some machines, that tag will sit there at whatever, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and just sit there, and the machine will oscillate, but the pad's not turning. Your machine, the thing's flying, and it's what seems like as fast, if not faster, than 175. And that's where the fling is going to be. Is there a way with a plug or something to stop the spin and just keep it oscillating?
Not that I'm aware of. And honestly, when you're, part of the motion, I mean, that head's doing 3 different motions at one time. It's rotating, obviously, it's orbiting, and it's tamping. So you really have 3 different motions going on at one time underneath the head of the machine. So, I mean, there's a lot happening there. So if you're asking, is there a way to stop it from doing one of the actions, like rotating? The answer to that, I think, is no.
Maybe with a different pad driver, because I know you guys got all kinds of weird little tricks under there with weight plates and weird cutaways. But I wonder if one could be developed, if that's even a benefit. That'd be something neat to research. Be easy enough to just go.
It'd be something to research. I don't know. Again, I don't know if there'd be a benefit to that necessarily. I mean, I guess it'd be something cool if you could do it, but I mean, I don't personally. I don't know.
Have
if
you
there'd be a
scrubbed
benefit
any
to it.
tile and grout with your CRB yet, and noticed how you get no splashing? I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yes, it is a big deal. However, like my CRB, when I'm using it to scrub, it doesn't have quite as much weight either. So,
but for most,
I mean, there's
most floors,
yeah.
it's all it needs. But yeah, a splashless.
Well, and a lot of it comes down to your chemical too. You want to make sure that you're using, a high quality chemical, for whatever job you're on, so you're not relying too much on any one part of your.
With that, let me get
too much chemical, heat, agitation.
I have this military account where I do tons of this heavy grain embossed vinyl, and ever since I started using his Tsunami, I haven't needed to whip out the CRB. That stuff almost acts like a stripper, but without the butyl stench. But I put that down, and not even that strong. I'll scrub the edges with a grout brush or something, just get in there. But then I'll come in with my hard surface wand, and everything melts right off. That's must be the
that's
magic
wonderful.
crystal pearls that he puts in there or something.
I'm a huge fan of Sager products. I actually recently ordered just a whole sample pack of all sorts of stuff that he has. And I have to say, I'm a huge fan of his
try
stuff.
that.
So
Try that. The tsunami.
the Tsunami is one I have
That
not
just
tried
came
yet.
out. Just came out.
Yes, yeah, that one's brand new. I picked up some of his. Let's see, what all did I pick up? Oh gosh, I picked up his P-Lime Zyme. I picked up some Sager Sealer. I picked up. Oh gosh, I had a couple other things I picked up too. They're all on my truck. So, but been using them, really enjoying them.
Well, get with Charles and do a little splash test if you could, and see. Is there a way to like hold? Let's say that pad. Let's get back to that tag spinning. What would happen if you held on to the tag? Would it stop the spinning motion?
It might. If you could hold on to it. I've
Yeah,
never
right.
tried. I've on our stair tool. I know you can grab the pad and you can hold it in place, so it's just oscillating and not rotating. So that is something that
I never
my wife got
acknowledge
in here.
people
Hey,
that say,
sweetie,
"Hey,
not you,
Mike," but
Mike.
when she started calling me sweetie, I was gonna say something. Then she ruined
Yeah, yeah. So, see, I guess he's watching from the other room. Well, I come outside because we have a 3-year-old, and sometimes he's
it. Pull the pad from your hand.
sometimes he gets a little rambunctious. Oh yeah. He'd be trying to join the live show with me.
So,
But yeah, I have never been brave enough to try to grab the pad under the machine. No.
Explain
Not something I've
bad
tried.
idea. Explain to me what Charles was telling me the other day about your machines having controlled movement, meaning every carpet, every pad, every situation, you get all 3 actions. He said other machines,
Yes.
like I mentioned, sometimes the pad will move, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it barely moves, and it'll take an hour to make a full circle, and other times it's flying. So what controls the movement?
So, well, it's the engineering under it. It's how the machine's built. So, I can't speak for anyone else's machines, and honestly, I don't have enough experience with other machines to tell you how they work. The only thing I can tell you is how ours work. Ours they always spin the same direction. You always have all 3 motions: the rotation, the oscillation, and the tamping.
That tamping action, is that something if I grab the plate, would I be able to move it up and down or side to side, kind of, or how do you realize when that happens?
Well, with your machine turned off, yeah. If you're spinning your head, don't try this with your machine on, Mike. But with your machine in the off position, preferably unplugged, yeah, you can actually move the head a little bit. If you spin it, you can see it a little bit. You can see it a lot better when it's actually running, and if you were to record it and watch it back in slow-mo, then you can actually see the tapping in action. Does that have something to do with that crescent? So, but just moving it by hand.
You don't know. don't lie.
No, I do know actually. I do know. That's kind of one of our trade secrets there, All right. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. So, yeah, I do know what makes it happen. Victoria says if you slowly turn the pad driver, you'll see it. I mean, you'll see the tapping, but you're not going to see like a huge amount when you're doing it by hand. However, if you do play it in like a slow-mo playback, and
Victoria sent me that plug with no instructions, so I got to figure that one out. And I will say that pad driver is extremely well mounted to that drive shaft on that thing, and it ain't ever coming off unless you
absolutely
the bolts there.
Yeah,
it got me thinking though.
So and it is
on there, but you have 2 unused holes. I didn't look in the other ones. Do any of them align with another hole? Is it possible to put a 3rd bolt in there for the sake of it?
I don't think that would be possible. Yeah, I don't think it would line up if you drilled an extra hole. Yeah, I don't think that wouldn't line up necessarily because those holes are all offset from each other. So they're made to line up a very specific way. So you might have to have multiple extra holes in order to put a third bolt on. But, periodically, when you're doing your regular machine maintenance, you just,
Do you have
tighten it
anybody
up.
that puts a little red Loctite on there, or it's not a problem?
I would not recommend that because then you couldn't change the speed of your machine.
Well, I mean, not the permanent Loctite. The blue stuff. I'm sorry, the temporary stuff and a little bit of torque.
Oh, I've I've never found it necessary. We use these all the time. You know, Periodically, I mean, we go through and when we're doing regular maintenance on our machines, which you want to keep your machine nice, whether it's an OP machine, your Brush Pro or your truck mount. Periodically, you go through, do a little bit of maintenance, make sure everything's clean, tight.
What else was I going to ask you on that?
Victoria says she has seen it used. I guess the blue
Maybe
more
if
tight
after
stuff.
it's worn out, and you've taken it off and on. But so you run 2 machines, whatever, 5 days a week. How often are you changing speeds, or you just always leave them on 5? You just get used to it.
Okay, so when I'm cleaning, I'm leaving my machines on speed 5. There's really only a couple of benefits to slowing down your machine. One, if you're in a place that has really just crappy power, then slowing down your machine is gonna the motor's not gonna work as hard and it's gonna draw less
How
amps.
many amps per speed?
However,
Have you measured that?
I don't know those offhand. I do know on speed 5, your Spider and my MX, they're running at 5.5 amps on speed 5. So, back in the day, it was a bigger deal than it is now. But with the motors we have now, amp draw is really not a big deal. So that would have been one reason. I keep one machine set up for tile and grout. That one I keep on speed 1 with the tile and grout brush. Again, we've reduced the size of the orbit. You're going to have less slosh, when you're less cleanup work.
And pretty sure you only you guys offer variable speed machines, right?
Okay, you broke up there for just a second, so I missed part of what you said.
Does any other manufacturer offer variable speed OP machines?
None that I'm aware of. But I'm gonna be honest, I really nerd out on our machines, but I don't really spend a lot of time like dissecting other machines, we're always just looking at ours and seeing what we can do with them.
Machines do cost more, but it's for a reason. It's all American made. Yeah, the whole company is staffed with experienced users that are out in the field for the most part every day. I mean, none of your competition can say that. So you guys know the answer to the problem.
Yeah, everyone building machines, everybody on the board are all carpet cleaners. So, for example, Charles up on the hill, building machines. He's also goes out and he cleans carpets. So we're all users, so to speak. They say never use your own product, but in this case, we definitely all break that rule.
It's a big deal. You guys are designing these things to meet your needs rather than guessing and speculating.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, and of course, as a user, there's things that, there's different things that over time I want to try out. Not necessarily bring into production right away, but when you make a change, you don't want to make a change and then just throw it out there. You want to, if you're making changes and modifications, you want to get it out in the field, give it time to see how it reacts, how it holds up, stuff like that before you start producing, obviously. So there's different things that we are looking at potentially doing, just to kind of try to tweak the machines a little bit. But I mean, I think it's one of those situations where whether you're a cleaner and you're always trying to learn more about what you're doing, when you're in manufacturer, you should always be trying to improve what you're doing.
Brian Thompson, I'm actually doing a webinar with tomorrow night. He He was a part owner in a stone restoration company in Phoenix, where there's probably more stone per capita than, geez, maybe only somewhere in Miami could keep up with him. But he also flies around the country and does let's call them classes for tile and grout and stone restoration. And he's going to be at the Scottsdale event. I'm sure he's very interested in this deal.
Awesome. And that's Brian, you said?
OP. He's on right now. But you may want to talk
awesome.
about a beater machine or
wonderful.
something. You want his input on stonework. It would behoove you to send one out his way to play with.
Absolutely. Well, if he's teaching classes on stone, then I should probably take one.
No, he knows his stuff, and he's
so that way when you ask me these questions, I can be like, hey, maybe I'll know what I'm talking about next time.
I think I've taken this class 3 or 4 times in different venues, and I always walk away learning at least something. Couple things.
Oh, that's great.
From a beginner standpoint to now a very experienced standpoint, he's really got it down. He actually used to be an instructor for Legend Brands, and then went out on his own. Wanted to be a little more independent, I guess. But yeah, you guys should have a phone call and talk about what he does. So there's your plug, Mr. Brian. But yeah, he'll be on tomorrow night if you want to tune in. We're going to talk about what we're going to be doing at the Scottsdale event, as well as other stuff that Brian's doing.
Okay, awesome. Well, Brian, I'll be looking forward to meeting you out there, and hopefully we talk before then. So that'd be great.
So the reason we were doing this little webinar tonight was to kind of announce that on Mikey's board we are auctioning off a Phoenix MX that's, I guess, been modified to be 135, right, or 125.
That is correct. Whichever one Victoria says it is. It will have the Speed 5 transmission in it.
It's a heavier, smoother machine. Great for learning on. If you're a wimpy little guy, you're probably gonna want a ramp to get it into your truck because it's over 100 pounds and it's not like you're lifting it down.
I think it's about 117 pounds roughly.
So have you ever seen my trick of using a single motorcycle ramp and getting the Cymex up into the truck on one wheel?
I have not seen that.
I'm essentially doing a wheelie up into my truck, and I've come close, but I haven't bitten it yet. It's pretty funny watching.
Oh, man.
Camera down the ground.
So most of the time we have at least 2 guys on a truck. So just for the sake of our backs, we always team lift. There's occasions where we lift a machine by ourselves, but when I was actually buying my trucks, I specifically got trucks that had the lowest profile I could. So
which is what?
I have a Nissan, and I have 2 different ones. My small truck is a Nissan NV200, and it's a very low profile. So, but also it's very limited on space. So my other truck I got last year, my second truck is a ProMaster 2500.
They're kind of low too.
So it's a big one. They are. What I noticed was, when I went to the dealership, I actually took a tape measure with me, and I'm measuring, the lift on these things, and the transit I think was 4 inches higher on the side entrance. So that's one of the major reasons I did.
Not the back. On
the side. So that's one of the reasons I went with the ProMaster, just because it was lower to the ground.
Get back to that auction. So you got the. I keep wanting to call it the Freedom, but it's the Phoenix MX.
Phoenix MX, that's right.
Tossing in 10 21-inch blue microfibers. So there's $200 right there.
Yes.
2 gallons of dual strength or double strength Pad Cap Pro. There's $140. And a gallon of a Ure neutral cleaner, which is great for doing wood and pergo and laminates and all sorts of stuff. Laminates and pergo being the same thing. So you're looking at close to $400. The machine itself's about a $3,500 machine.
Plus, it's got the upgraded transmission in it.
What's that value?
About $200.
All right, so you got 37.
Yeah.
So you're at, good Lord, you're at $4,100 value, right? Not to mention shipping.
Yeah.
We're starting the auction at $2,000. It's more than half off.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you ought to buy it. Price is probably less than what you paid for it.
I might. Mike, you've already talked me into it. I'm sold.
That would be really
no need to have the auction. I'm in.
I'm often tempted to bid on my own auctions, but that'd be funny.
I know. So, okay, I'll refrain this time, but no promises next time.
So starting bid,
and you've about got me talked into it already.
If you live between Mexico and Canada, we're going to throw in free shipping. No island, no Alaska.
Yeah, anywhere in the continental U.S.
Only the lower 48. And holy mackerels, man! I didn't realize that was a $4,100 package. Jeez, I got to let my guy know that we did the upgrade.
Yeah, it's a great, it's a really great deal. So, depending on how far guys run it up, that's a
Jeremy
deal.
Gray. Jeremy's a great guy. He's from Minnesota. He helped us a lot on the Minneapolis house. He's one of 8 people that came back the second day to help out. And then everybody that came back that second day, man, they all deserve a high five. They certainly didn't have to. I really respected those guys. But he's after this machine. He saw all this building up to it. So expect to go to Jeremy on this deal.
Nice.
I don't know where he's going to put it because he's got a Sapphire 870 in a little van smaller than yours, and you might have to tow it behind him. So make sure you put on the extra big hubcaps with like 6 bolts on it. You might be towing it.
Oh, we might even put some spinners on it,
36-inch
Why not?
spinners.
Why not? Yes, absolutely. That won't affect performance at all.
Have you ever had the pleasure of running a wheels up OP machine?
I have run my machines wheels up.
Put extra weight, but I mean,
I have not.
Whatever, 5,000 feet with a wheels up machine.
I have had the pleasure of not having to do that. So, when I got in the game, the wheels up machines really weren't a thing anymore. So, my first machine was wheels down, had a spray system, the whole 9 yards, and I still have it. It's still service ready. I don't use it anymore. It's one of my backup machines. It's an older model from like 6-7 years ago.
Because of that, I had a Clark machine and a Ruby.
Oh, wait a second. No, I lied to you, Mike. I have run a wheels up machine. I've got a prototype that we've been building that I have used. It's a wheels up. So I lied.
You got
I have
another
used
prototype that Victoria told me about. I don't know if you can talk about it now, but I think it's a good idea. You're not jumping on that information, so we'll leave it a secret.
No, that's the one, the smaller machine that we've been toying around with.
It's a good idea for guys to do a lot of
but but it's still in testing. It's not ready, so I mean, it's getting close, but it's not. We're not ready to actually release it yet. There's no rush on it. And it's not that there's not a rush, but I don't want to. It's not going to release until I'm comfortable that it's ready to go.
What about those square OPs that are out there? You ever ran one of those?
I have not, but when I was a teenager, there was this guy that went to our church, and he cleaned carpet. He had a square carpet cleaner, but I was a teenager then, so I didn't actually use it or anything. I was too busy doing other stuff.
I mean, you got to move the thing probably like a lawnmower or wheelbarrow. You're not gonna. It's got to be more of this, more linear. You got to wonder.
Brian Thompson's asking, can you add extra weight for stone, or do you have a weighted driver? The extra weight for stone, if you're going to be adding weights to a machine, the Spider is the one that comes. The Spider has the option for the weight kit. The Phoenix currently does not have a weight kit option on it, but the Spider does, and then the Padman does as well. So we have two models that you can add the weight to.
Hey, let me ask you something there on the upgraded transmission on this one. It has the Spider transmission. What's the actual upgrade doing? Allowing you to run speed 5 or something else?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's increasing the size of your orbit. So, you know, the larger the offset, the more scrubs per second you're going to get.
Okay. I'm putting this into the description here on the world's greatest carpet cleaning.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Nice.
Another thing that and I don't know if this is unique to our equipment, but I found is incredibly helpful on our wheels down machines, the Spider and the Phoenix and even the Champ, is that you have the option of running them wheels up. Now they're heavy, and I don't recommend doing it for long periods of time.
By flipping it over.
But you can just lift it up and flip it
put
over.
The tank, the solution tank, upside down.
And not if you're not running it 100% full.
Really?
So if your solution tank's about halfway full, you can absolutely flip it up. It's kind of cool. Now, if you just filled up your jug, then yeah, you're going to spill out if you tried doing that. But, you know, most of the time your jug is not 100% full when you're cleaning.
Sure.
Because you're using it.
So is it kind of laying at pointing at 2 o'clock or so?
Well, I mean, you just lift up on the handle, and you can flip the machine around, and you can actually run it wheels up.
I remember doing that one. I just don't remember what angle the tank is at, essentially.
Yeah, probably about a 2 o'clock position, between 1 and 2. Yeah, probably 2.
Maybe that tank needs to be on a pivot.
It works.
Pointing up.
Maybe so. I actually saw a really cool machine that has a tank on a pivot. So it's a rotary machine. It was pretty awesome, actually.
That'd help when you're loading it in the truck too. Because when I load mine, it tilts back, and unless I put a twist tie or something around that handle, it'll fall out if there's too much juice in there.
Yeah. So a lot of times, what I do when I'm loading and unloading the machines, that would be better for stone, so the wheels don't go through the stone slurry. Yes. Victoria says yes, about 2 o'clock. Not trying to sound like a wuss or anything, but typically if I'm loading and unloading the machine, I'm just going to set the jug to the side, especially if I'm loading it by myself. Because if you have a full jug on there that's got 2.5 gallons in there, you're looking at 16 to 20 extra pounds that you're picking up. So
16 pounds
in just a split second, you can set the jug off.
It has all that polymer in there.
That's right. Maybe more. It's very heavy. Some guys, if you're going up and down steps, you can take the jug off. But also, the great thing is, the jug's only 2.5 gallons, so you can have several prepped and ready. So if you're in like a large commercial, you can have multiple jugs prepped, and if you run out of juice, you just grab another one, throw it on there, and keep going.
Yeah, and laying those
very
out
little downtime
strategically through the building too would be a smart move.
Yes, you can do that. Sometimes we'll lay pads strategically throughout the building. Just walk through, drop some chemical jugs, drop some pads. We were guesstimating that you're going to need them, and you just kind of go from there. But with lifting up on the machine, typically, some guys will add weight to the machines when they're cleaning carpet. Personally, that's not my choice. If I need more weight, I'm usually just going to lift up on the handles just a little bit, add that extra little bit of head weight, set my machine back on the ground, and just keep going. So we don't actually recommend running weights on carpet unless absolutely necessary, and at that, we don't recommend running them all the time.
So you don't have enough experience on a Cymex, but what I'd notice is that it seems like I'm filling up at about the same rate, but that's only because the tank is smaller. So you're right around half the usage. Does that make sense? Is that what you've heard from other people? About half?
Yes. I do know that from what I've heard, it is lower usage. There was another question about making a shower feed. Um, Making a shower feed is actually pretty hard on, I think, some of the
It
components
wastes the
underneath. And
bearings and it causes more fling. I've heard.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, shower
it would
feeding
be
it
kind of
is
nice. You
not,
wouldn't have to.
something that we're
You know,
looking at.
you got to learn the rhythm of the spray, and you learn to let go as you're working your way into anything other than a plastic coving baseboard because it kind of slows down a little bit. It's not on off because you got hoses filled with the juice. It's whatever.
Yes,
Let's say it's a
yes.
3 4
And those
second
hoses actually
delay.
build up pressure.
So you just get in the pattern and you lay off and you tend to go along walls rather than into walls. But yeah, having all that polymer flinging around, you'd have to have like some kind of a sealed shaft cover or something to keep it out of there. I just don't think that's possible. I know Mighty tried to offer
Yeah.
that as an option, and it failed dramatically. All the machines were failing when people took that route. The only other thing I could think you could do is maybe put the spray behind the head, keep it off the baseboards, but then you got to take just as much brain power to work using the left side of your brain.
Run it in reverse. So, Mike, a little trick that I've learned. What I do is I typically trim out the room. If I'm in a situation where I have to be careful of overspray, I'll just trim out the room real fast and then go back into the middle. Yeah, absolutely. Trim it out, and then I can stop a little bit shy.
Yeah, if you trim that out, you just cleaned a 17-inch path. There's no risk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good idea. Okay, I'll think of that on the next one. I can't think of anything else about this thing. You guys upgraded it, include all these extra perks.
Yep, it's a killer machine. I think I'll take two of them actually, Mike. If you're selling them at that price.
I was having to fold the handle like all the way horizontal to get under some higher than normal desk at an office I was doing the other day. And the only thing that was keeping it was that arc, which you got to have. But when you take that handle all the way down, now you got a machine that stands maybe 2.5 feet tall. We're right in there.
I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. Okay, so
to get underneath desk, the machine is now like 2.5 feet tall, or not even that high.
Oh gosh, I know Victoria's on here. She might know. I know the Phoenix MX actually has a slightly lower profile than the Spider. There's about 1.5 to 2-inch difference between the Spider and the Phoenix. Yes,
I was having to be careful around the little
that's something I like.
Keyboard tray and whatnot. Another 1.5 would have been notable.
Yes. However, having the taller handle bracket on the Spider allows you to fold the handle all the way forward. Whereas on the Phoenix MX, your handle either goes upright or lays back, but it does not go forward over the machine. So you kind of gain something and lose something all at the same time.
Everything else in life, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, you've used my machine, so I mean, you know how it is. I'm a huge fan. I love the Spider. Actually, when I got my first Spider, my guys actually stole it from me, and I really haven't seen it since. This guy Daniel, that's his machine, so he uses it, and so I had to go out and build myself my own machine, and that's when I got the idea for my crazy MX that you ran out in Greenville.
In Greenville?
South Carolina. That's where.
Right. That's where you're talking about. Daniel. Who's that?
Isn't that where? Oh, Daniel. He's one of my technicians. Yeah. When I got the Spider, that's his machine. See, my technicians, they'll grab a machine and they'll claim it, and they won't let anybody else touch it. They all have their favorites.
On the handlebar.
Pretty much, yeah. One of them put a cup holder on his. I mean, you just never know what they're gonna do. But yeah, I could have four identical machines, and they'd know which ones were which, and they're gonna use the same machines every
Yeah, it's
time.
just like
So
if you're running truck
yep,
mounts, each guy would have his own and customize it.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
what do? You get a spot that your pad cap pro's not getting out, your Genie Magic or whatever that stuff's called not getting out, and now you got to start risking using some kind of a solvent or something that isn't going to necessarily get diluted enough or rinse out and may cause rapid resoiling in that area. What do you do? What's your go-to chemical?
I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call you, Mike. If I have a spot I can't get out, I'm gonna call you up and be like, "Hey, Mike, come help me out, buddy." Um, no, there's you only want to use things that you can neutralize, of course. But I have different chemicals that we use for different things. So there's anomaly, which I think is a pH of 12. You want to make sure you neutralize that really well because it will cause rapid resoiling if you don't neutralize it properly. Um, and it can also cause like delamination and stuff like that. We have a product that I absolutely love for restaurants called Torpedo. That stuff is great for grease. Clint says he uses Blink. Personally, Blink
Blink
scares
or
the crap
Wink?
out of me.
Blink,
Yeah,
Wink rust remover? Or something else.
Blink. No, it's a product. I know we used to carry it. I don't know if we actually still carry Blink or not. But I'm scared of it. It's something. It's pretty aggressive. Um, and then Clint says he uses Blink, then goes over with more PadCap Pro. Victoria says Spot and Boost. I do use Spot and Boost. I use Detonator, Spot and Boost, Torpedo, PadCap, Anomaly, Genie's Potion, Red Vanish
Genie is good
Fool.
stuff, man. I've gotten a lot of weird stuff out of there.
It, Genie's is really good. I need to use it more. I've used it a few times. Victoria says yes, we still do carry Blink.
Blink.
But I mean, Blink, yes, it's one of
See,
ours.
in the hot water world,
So
if you get stuck like that, then we go for the Fells naphtha ring around the collar bar. That and you mix 40 volume peroxide. And if that combination, you lube the carpet with the 40 volume, rub the Fells on there, you scrub it with your Vibram spotter. And if that doesn't get it out, then you just give the sorry ma'am, I'm a failure, and that spot's not coming out.
well, I think there's definitely something to don't overpromise. I would rather underpromise and overperform for my clients than overpromise and
Yeah.
underperform. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, our machines are going to get 100% of the spots and stains out of your carpet. That'd be obnoxious. They're wonderful machines, and it's a tool just like anything else. But there's a need for lots of different tools, and there's a need for lots of different chemical products, and I think when you go in to a client's home, when you're doing your pre-inspection, you can make educated guesses about what's going to come out and what's not. But you also don't want to you don't want to overpromise in any situation. You'd rather
Regardless of
overperform.
method. How many jobs
Absolutely.
do you pre-spray? Do you take a whatever, a gallon, 2 gallon jug and an electric sprayer, a multi-sprayer, or something like that, and put down a couple 100 feet of pre-spray
Oh
liquid oil?
gosh.
You do that very often? Excuse me.
Um. We do a lot of hotel work. Anytime we go into a hotel for the first time, I usually pre-treat with detonator. Um, and Jaquan says I'm excited to learn about them firsthand. Jaquan's actually going to come visit me here in a couple of weeks. He's going to come up and clean with me. I met him in Greenville, South Carolina, at the Ronald McDonald
Oh,
House.
yeah, I recognize
So
him. That's cool.
yeah. He's going to come up and clean with me next month. I'm excited. We've been trying to put this together for a little while. So
That's killer.
yep. He's only like 3 hours away from me, so it's close enough.
So what'd you say about? I know at the Cymex we would, because I know how you're not putting down a whole lot. It's not like you're spraying with a hydroforce and you can recover it. So we would do I don't think we'd ever do more than like 100 feet at a time. But it mostly dining
No,
halls, just a
no.
ton of coffee spots where a little bit of dwell time is going to save you
Oh
from
yeah.
having to hover over the spot. Because even with a Cymex, you get something tough, same thing. You can lift that tank up and put all, whatever the damn machine weighs, 140 pounds of weight on there, and that'll make most anything disappear. But you're really slowing down production because, with either of these types of machines, you want to be moving and walking that thing like you got a 100-pound bulldog pulling you down the street. You want to go as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Well, so I guess is the question, what's my go-to pre-spray? I guess, because like I like detonator quite a
Detonator
bit.
is a TRS product.
Depending on circumstance. It's a product that TRS sells. We carry it, but it's a VACWay product, and you can buy detonator all over the
Is it
place. I
like
mean,
a
that's not
IPA
exclusive to
supercharged
us.
pre-spray that you can also clean with, or is it just for doing pre-spraying of encap and then rinsing with?
I don't think detonator is an encap. I could be
right?
wrong, but it's peroxide. Yeah, it's a peroxide
Well, that's
base.
usually what you're trying to go
So
after is, organic spots. So that makes sense. What
absolutely,
about just
yeah. So
spraying?
it's typically good for.
I'm not sure if you're the guy to ask, but what if you just sprayed 40 volume down? Is that, I know peroxide can screw up some end cap polymers. So let's say with your Pad Cap Pro, if I add 40 volume to the tank, or if I pre-spray 40 volume, is that going to mess with your polymer?
Again, I'm probably not the guy for that question.
You gotta get
So I don't know if it would or not. I've not actually used 40
yeah, use
volume.
40.
So
Well, yeah, look at your hair. You've never seen this stuff.
yeah, no.
No, 40 volume. Good Lord, we buy that. We go through at least a case a month of gallons. We pre-spray everything, hot water or end cap, all the coffee and pea stains. Usually, if it's pea stains, we won't vacuum those areas. So the first thing we do, we hit the house, we let it soak in 40 volume, and by the time you get around to rinsing it out, it's often you can't even find the spot. It's already eaten it up. But generally, if you're buying in bulk, you're getting it for $10 a gallon, which hard to beat that. But a lot of
Okay. Yeah, that is
chemistry, and
really
you got to be
good.
careful with peroxide. Not only does it turn your skin snow white, but it eats up your check valves and your sprayers.
Oh yeah. I mean, detonator. If you get it on your fingers, it's gonna burn.
Brian's asking, do the crystals create a powder? Yeah, absolutely. VACWay is known for almost borderline excessive crystallization. You don't want to leave that stuff in your pump, whether it's a shower feed or your machine, whether it's a shower feed or an electric pump. You want to run water through there at the end of the day, unless you got a job, in 6 hours from now or less, and never got a chance to dry. But almost every VACWay shampoo I've ever used, if you let that stuff dry, you're gonna be hating life next time you go use that machine, because it's a real definable polymer in there.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's good. It's part of your maintenance. When you're using your machine, is you want to make sure you're keeping your tips and your filters clean. That's just a regular maintenance thing that you're gonna have to do. And also, we recommend running warm water through the pump and stuff at the end of the day to help keep it from building up.
Maybe 2 cups
and
of warm
capping
water.
in your
It's
pump.
easy to take the siphon hose out of your machine.
Yes.
Just stick it out the doorway or somewhere. Obviously, you don't want to dump that back onto the carpet just clean. So, point it outside or point it outside and spray it out when you're done. That's for sure. With the Cymex, you can dump it in the tank, and it's a bit more of a hassle. You got to take the pad drivers off and spin the head. The Cymex won't feed unless the head's turning, or it'll just feed one of the heads. So it's a little bit more of a construction act to do it, but it's crucial.
No, you're just gonna put your you're gonna put your hose into a cup of warm water and just spray it through the machine, and that's that. Yeah, and then periodically you'll want to take the spray tips off and soak your filters overnight in some warm water.
You have T-jets on there with filters behind them, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So behind the T-jets, there's a filter. Take that off, soak it periodically. You can even, some guys will scrub it with a toothbrush. But if you don't clean your filters, it'll absolutely affect your pump. It's not gonna, it'll build up too much over time, and you'll end up getting somewhere and be like, oh, I don't have any spray coming through my machine. Well, first thing you always check is make sure your filters are
Your
clean.
machine, let's say you do run the pump dry. All you got to do is you got those little press and release quick releases, but just take it off the outgoing side of the pump. Take the hose out of the equation, and
oh, absolutely. So if you run the pump dry, or if you get too much back pressure on there, or if your filters are dirty and it's just too much pressure on it to get it started, it's just a quick release. Little green tab, you push down, pull your hose out, and you can prime your pump really fast that way. Stick your hose back in. If you do that, make sure you push it back in all the way. If not, if you don't get it seated in there all the way, it can spray out on you. But I've done that more than once in my life.
Same kind of connector that's like on a reverse osmosis system under your sink. You just push the collar and push the hose at the same time.
Yeah, it's super easy, super fast. It takes like 2 seconds to do. Saves you a lot of. I've seen guys try all sorts of crazy tricks to prime pumps, but that's by far the easiest. Just disconnect the outgoing side of the pump and
I like your unit. Yeah,
prime it in 2 seconds and put it back in.
Unit that you can tell was designed by carpet cleaners. It may not look like a Lexus at 100 miles an hour like some of them do, but the thing it's very real world and
really built for functionality. We let people, customize machines to a degree. People can call in, they can order specific colors, specific cutouts and backplates if they want their company logo, cut into a machine or whatnot.
What's that cost to cut out a backplate?
People do all sorts of. Oh gosh. A custom backplate, of course, it has to be designed. It has to be in stencil. I'm gonna say something on here, and then Victoria's gonna tell me I'm wrong. I think it's like $300. So I know then you can have your company logo put in it.
And anybody who's done any amount of commercial work with low moisture machines, we all have stories of how that one night, I don't know why, but that janitor sure hung out for a long time, and then you never hear from that account again because he figured out where that Simex or that Advanced or something came from, and you lost the account because they figured out where to buy it. So yeah, if it says Sam Miller's carpet cleaning on that back plate, you stand a whole lot better chance of not finding the thing. Oh, $200.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Victoria says, "Hey, you said shoot high, so I went high." Again, like it was that. Don't overpromise. Under promise, overperform.
It's worth $300.
So there you go.
So if you're coming to the Phoenix event, Scottsdale event, what we did last time, and we had
yes.
Oh cripes! What was his name? Was it Terry? Big guy.
Hang on, I'm trying to think who was at that one.
The heck was his name?
Oh gosh.
I mean, you weren't around then, but
Tim. No, I wasn't around then, but that was I think his name was Tim. I think
he
was
brought I don't know how many machines, and he's I wouldn't say he's intimidating, but he's full of opinionated, but also a very skilled cleaner. And I know he's out of the industry. He blew his back out. He's a Mormon guy, Utah somewhere.
Mm.
But anyhow, he was, my goodness, we had a wood floor there at the hotel. And keep in mind, we're not only cleaning the Ronald McDonald House, we're also cleaning the Swahara Hotel. It has all kinds of interesting services. Lots of wood staircase, wood lobby, Zeisel rugs, which the OP machines actually blew all the other methods away on, and lots of commercial glue down carpet. So we get to play around. Tim Bingham, very good, Victoria. You want a free nameplate on the back of your OP. But yeah, Tim was willing to take chances and do stuff that the rest of us didn't want to mess with. So it was pretty educational. But good Lord, Branden, you should have seen what he did to this wood floor. And like I was talking earlier about the the Michelin tire syndrome, and we were doing these staircases that nothing else was working on, and I think he had the, what do you call it, the pad son, or the little gadget.
Oh, well, there's a stepson, stepdad,
Uncle Lou, or whatever that thing was, but
I'm not.
it's just
Yeah,
the monkey.
one of the stair tools.
It was incredible.
Nice,
Yeah, so yeah, we're
nice.
gonna,
Well, I think you put up a picture a while back
that filthy pad.
of, I think it was a glad pad that was just,
his pad,
yeah.
and that was that floor, and that floor was like 6 months old, but they've been using the Yellow Devil bucket and the string mop, slinging that crap all over. And it's a busy hotel
Okay.
with lots of booze getting slung everywhere. And that's where we first learned that you could use a CRB in compound too, because there were some worn areas. We were hesitant to use water on there. And I said, hey, Red, just go pick a corner and go try that thing. And he came over and said, Mike, you can't believe this. And you throw down that yellow beige compound and ran over it, 2 steps and started flinging muddy compound out. And man, we had all the staff and hotel guests, everybody standing around. Got some video of it. It was absolutely incredible. And I talked to the hotel staff a week or so ago. I said, don't mop that floor between now and then.
Just let it get dirty so we can clean it. Make sure everybody can see where we've been.
I told them to work over the carpet. It wasn't all that dirty last time. I said, don't touch it. We're gonna give you your money's worth. But
well, that's one of the things about cleaning carpets, and I have a lot of people ask me sometimes, because I do own some other businesses, and they ask me, why do you clean carpet? Well, the fact is, I just enjoy it. It's that instant gratification. There's a spot, now it's gone, sort of.
It's never the same day.
I just enjoy the work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Days go by. That's what I always tell new employees. You're never gonna go through a day watching your clock or your wristwatch or whatever, wondering when this day's gonna be over. You'll know it because you're gonna be exhausted, but it's not that type of job. It's not factory work. It's not a desk job. It's or even whatever sales out of one building, car dealership or something. You're moving around all day. There's a reason we're all so damn passionate about it on these pages and forums. It's sure, you can have a tough day, too much PP to deal with, or difficult customers, and whatever days where you're lost.
Oh yeah, but I mean, typically, I've worked movie theaters, I've worked in factories, I've cleaned carpets, I've done a lot of different things, and like in a movie theater, you're going to come across clients that are difficult to deal with, just like carpet cleaning. But when I worked in a factory, I didn't like some of the people that worked across the line from me. So
see, that movie theater, you can't necessarily, hey, don't come back here anymore to see Avengers Part 3. But carpet cleaning, you don't have to go back to those difficult customers. If you don't want to tell them straight out, you just tell them.
You don't have to. No. Yeah, we've had clients that we've let go for one reason or another. If a client doesn't like paying or doesn't like paying timely, or a lot of then I'm not going to go back. Or if a client's just difficult to deal with, we really we like to pick our clients just as much as they like to pick us, and I think that's the way any working relationship should be.
You've been cleaning carpets long enough.
Of course, I'm not
to have. You must have experienced the, hey, where's the hose in that noisy truck? People have always had steam clean, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm the only carpet cleaner in my town, so at first I got a lot more, but I don't really have any competition here. Now where I do, so on my residential, people are they're pretty used to us at this point. Now, however, on our commercial side, honestly, I use it as a selling point, because we clean a lot of hotels, so I tell people, hey, we can come up, we can chase your checkouts, we're gonna, work around your housekeeping staff, we're gonna work around your guests, you're not gonna have the hoses down your hallway and stuff, and they like it.
Get an apple?
Oh yeah. So for me, because we're doing VLM cleaning, we'll go through, we'll start at the top of a building and we'll clean everything empty from the top down. Then we can go right back up to the top, no big deal, we'll just ride up the elevator, And anything that's checked out,
Yeah,
we'll just
it's not
start
like
at
you
the top
got to
and go
run
down again.
hoses back up a stairwell and do all that. No big deal. Do it right out of
Exactly.
sync.
So it takes us a few seconds to change floors, and whereas I don't have to tell them, hey, I have to have 10 rooms or 15 rooms all in a row in order to be able to go up and clean this floor. They can be like, hey, guess whatever just left, and we're getting ready to load the truck. Okay, that's fine. We'll just run up,
Do you
clean the
ever
room,
get
and
the manager
go
saying,
on.
well, is it going to sanitize the carpet? Like the hot water guy said he was using sanitizer. Or, I suppose you can put any chemical through that machine you want, but because you're not rinsing.
Oh, I mean, you can put anything through it. We tell them that we're doing an encapsulation method. I'm not going to tell them that it's going to do things that we're not doing. We explain to them, hey, this is our process. This is what we use. This is, and we always do a demo area for them. So we'll always clean the area for free, so they know what to expect, and
which 9 times out of 10 will
go
draw
from there.
anything better than the hot water area. And a hotel, I mean, what they're concerned, those rooms are concerned about looking bright and spot free, which is certainly doable. They're not typically, unless you're dealing with hotels that offer, offer pets, in which case they're going to have to rinse out any pee-pee messes. I stay at a hotel recently, a tiny little town, and I asked them, I go, so if my dog pees in there, what are you going to charge me? They go, we often don't even charge. We have an extractor. And I go, oh, so you're not hiring anybody? He says, well, there's no one in this town to hire. But they would just come in with a
Really?
little portable machine and slurp up the pee, assuming they even saw it. I mean, most pee spots you don't even know they happen because there's no color and it dries up right away, especially out here in the desert. And until it starts attracting dirt, so it might be two or three renters later that get blamed on that dog pee spot.
Oh, absolutely. We had another question here. I know it depends on traffic levels, but what is the standard maintenance intervals? I'm assuming that question's for me about cleaning hotels. Typically, the hotel sets the schedule. Most of our clients are quarterly.
And you're doing the stairs,
not all.
the steps on. I was just thinking of a hotel account we lost recently. It was a four level, a lot of stairs. And we were just too expensive. We were charging residential rates, and they got a new manager that threw a fit. Understandable, but we were willing to kill a whole day, with 2 vortexes for anything less. But and the stairs were the big deal. If we were actually Cymexing the halls. They never had us do the guest rooms, all halls and stairs. But I don't know. I haven't figured out a way to effectively encap a staircase yet with a round device and all them square corners.
Yeah, so they can be tricky. You can some guys will actually take and they'll spray a section and actually take a pad and clean it with their hand, whatever. We go through and I'll vacuum. My least favorite thing to do is vacuum steps. But I've vacuumed hundreds and hundreds of steps.
Yeah, so they need to. And the stairwells that only get used, when the elevator's full. They usually just need a vacuum. There's not much on them unless it's the ground floor coming off the parking lot, in which case you get.
Fortunately for me, most of my clients actually don't have carpeted steps. I've got a handful that do, or they'll have some sort of rubberized, whatever on them, and then they'll go through and mop them. Honestly, some of them I could probably clean. They'd probably hire me to do it, but I have not offered because it's more headache than I'm wanting to take on sometimes. Just because you can do it doesn't necessarily mean you should or should offer.
All right, Branden. Anything else you want to add? I was hoping this was going to be short enough to where I could download it on a YouTube, but I think we're hitting that fringe where my little downloaded program won't work.
Oh man, you just have to go back through it and just hit the highlights, or just do the test one from yesterday. Well, I think you did put that on YouTube. Where you're making all the funny faces. Chris says a drill brush on steps followed by a step son with glad pads. Yeah, there's you can get the brush attachments for a drill. And at that point, I guess you're back to end capping versus pad capping. Not a big deal. Yeah, so I think we've answered those questions. But no, Mike, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Oh,
I'm
there we
getting all
go.
keyed.
There we go.
Speed 5 and tamping.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
let's
so.
see how this auction pans out. If nobody bids, then we'll let you
All
buy it.
right. Okay, so hey, if nobody bids, I will absolutely buy that thing. Yeah, I get discounts,
Yeah,
but
for
not
an
like that.
extra $300, we'll put the
Not like
Avengers
that.
logo on that backplate for you, since that's what's paid.
You know, actually, funny thing you mentioned that. I was talking with somebody about that recently. Like, how cool would it be to have an Avengers OP machine? So we were actually talking about that just the other day. Absolutely, absolutely. That's that would be fun though. It'd be amazing.
The Big A or the Captain America shield or the Big
No,
A?
the Big A.
Big A.
Just the Big A. Yeah, stencil. Absolutely. So. All right. Well, appreciate you having me on here. So.
All right, bud. Well,
all right.
I'm reading some of the. Where's the glow stick? All right, bud. Well, hopefully we will see you in Phoenix, if not sooner. And yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Hey, and don't
hey,
forget
appreciate
Avengers
you. Talk to you later.
Assembly or symbol, or what they say before they got into a big brow.
Avengers Assemble. I think that's what they say. Not that I would know, but you know.
What did the Fantastic Four say before they got in a fight?
No one cares.
Oh,
no one cares. No one cares about the Fantastic Four. Oh goodness. Yeah, the last Fantastic Four movie was just a complete. Well, actually, let's see. There was two. Yeah, they just flopped. You know, no one came and watched them. No, their sales were horrible.
When you make the leading girl in the video invisible.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, you have a point there.
What's the point?
Yeah, there she is. Like, there's who. Yeah.
All right, Branden. I got to take care of the cat. I got a vet pulling up here. We need to give her invisible injections. All
right. Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, you have a great evening. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Rotate your device. How do I get out of here?